Welcome to another episode with your chapter crush, sweetheart. This is Everblue Presents When You're Enough, a chapter crush, sweetheart series. Bronwyn, chapter 26. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. Oscar Wilde. Through a constant flurry of work, school events, family events, and wedding planning, home life has become an anchor to my soul. It's my peace in a constant storm. Was Dad upset because I'm helping plot a surprise destination wedding for Bryony? Yes, but Mom was happy, and they got over the annoyance of having to travel to England, eventually. Then Michel made beef bourguignon, and that storm was quickly forgotten. Now my parents adore Nick. They even managed to get over their shock at the 11-year age gap between he and Bryony. So I decided to take Mom out for lunch one day and tell her about Michel. If things went well, then I'd tell Dad. I picked a well-known French restaurant that Michel loved when I treated him. Despite the brick walls and the midtown lunch crowd, white tablecloths, dark furnishings, and paintings featuring thematic French settings was conducive to spilling big news. I also hoped the atmosphere would remind me not to chicken out. So I began by telling Mom how Michel became my roommate. The soft sell went better than expected, and when she asked if things improved between us, I couldn't keep the resulting grin off my face. After telling her a little about him, she could barely control her delighted squeals. When I showed her a couple of pictures, she giggled over him like she was in love. I was ready to drop the bomb. Instead, as I was trying to spill the big news, I was bombed when she looked up, her dark brown eyes troubled, and said, "No matter what happens when, don't tell your dad. You know how he is." The disappointment was overwhelming, but I tried to fight it. "But Mom, I'm just saying, what if Michelle and I end up—" Mom shook her head so firmly, her salt and pepper twists began slapping the sides of her face, stopping me in my tracks. "Your dad is just coming to terms with Nick and Bryony living 200 feet from each other in separate houses. Imagine if he knew you were sharing an apartment." She scoffed and shook her head. "No, let's just keep this between us. Michelle is moving back to France at the end of August, right?" When I stiffly nodded, she smiled and took a sip of her wine. "Good. That's a little over 8 months away. Your father hates traveling into Manhattan anyway. He won't think it's strange you haven't invited us, as long as you keep showing up for family dinner." I pursed my lips as I slowly cut into my duck, then brightened. "Maybe I can invite Michel and his daughter for dinner one day, just as a friend." She was already looking at me with that quirked brow that tells me I've lost my mind. Now you know that's not going to fly. One word from his daughter, and then what? I felt a little wild then, like a caged animal. I wanted to scream, "Why not?" But instead I sipped my water, twisting my napkin in my lap. I had to say something. "But Mom, what if something happened between us? Between me and Michelle, I mean." She frowned, her smooth dark skin pulling taut around her eyes. "Like what?" I sat back and looked around at the nearby diners as if they had the answer, all while my heart was beating like it was about to get up and leave the table without me. "I don't know," I exclaimed. "What if we got married?" Mom stared at me a moment before she burst into laughter, shaking her head dismissively. "Oh, Bronwyn, you always were the dreamer. Married? Your father would have a coronary. As I've told you, as much as we may enjoy them, life is not a romance novel, darling. You already said the man was adamant that nothing happened between you. Could he make that any clearer?" I chuckled self-consciously at that point, immediately deflated. "You're right. Then just forget about it." Mom waved a dismissive hand as she took a bite of her kukulva. "Now, you said something about traveling at the end of the month. Where are you headed?" So I told her the abbreviated version of where I was going and for how long, all while I tried to keep my poor heart from bleeding out. When I got home, Michelle patched me up with a sumptuous tartiflette that left me dreaming about potatoes, cheese, and bacon for days. And little Dory put on a show to make me feel better, singing and dancing the songs she learned in school. On we went, spinning in and out of good times and bad times. When his brother was in a car accident and his truck was totaled, I sat up with Michel as he paced the room, waiting to find out if Adrien was okay. It turned out that he was a bit banged up, but nothing too serious. Still, I held Michel as he cried in relief and told me how much the distance is killing him. We talked far into the night, and long after I crawled out of his pallet and into my bed, I hung over the side and let him regale me with stories of his childhood till we fell asleep. When I was finally able to chase up Evie, we instantly had a rapport. As it turns out, the woman refused to be the matron of honor, despite my insistence that she take it, claiming Bryony would behead her and steal her children. A bit brutal, but perhaps accurate if we know Bryony. We laughingly agreed to be a matron and maid of honor to share the load, although it would technically be two matrons of honor. However, I wasn't about to spill that particular bean to Bryony's best friend. After spitballing some ideas, we came up with a great idea for a bachelorette party where the ladies would indulge in a spa day while all the men threw knives or whatever it is that Alfie would have them doing. I actually felt better after speaking to Evie, and as I told Michelle about the planned festivities, I felt more excitement over the wedding than I had since learning about it. So, after kicking him out of the kitchen, I brought Dorian to help make a pan of brownies. We decorated half with sprinkles and covered the other half with Nutella, giggling about how surprised her papa would be. Well, the joke was on us because out of 12 brownies, Dorian and I only had 3.5. I knew he loved chocolate, but really? Meanwhile, at work, Brad didn't take kindly to me taking my hands off his work. After several discussions over the last 2 weeks, my pitiful year-end bonus reflects his disapproval. So, instead of leaving to meet Michelle and Dory to head for the airport, I'm sitting here staring at a memo requesting that I meet with HR to discuss a performance improvement plan. Anger swirls in my gut at the realization that Brad would rather fire me than step up and do his job. I'm still staring at the email when a knock sounds at the door, and my second favorite person in the world swings into my office. What's got your girdle knotted up? Sam chuckles as she unzips a bit of the side zipper at the hem of her brick red leather pencil skirt to comfortably sit. Only she can pull off a white and black polka dot blouse, black underbust corset, and stiletto lace platform booties. I take in her red lip and the artful smoky eye that makes her hazel lion-like eyes pop, and immediately stretch my arms towards her across my desk. Teach me how to do battle makeup. Spill the secret of your ways. She smirks as she tuts. Huh. Somehow I don't think your husband would appreciate you on my morning dom look. I think he's fallen in love with your natural girl next door vibe, so I must sadly decline your generous offer. I roll my eyes as I sit back, dropping my chin in my hand. If he's in love, it's with the hot cocoa at Socorso's. He gets it so often, I think I can taste it in my sleep now. Sam chuckles as she tosses her long bangs to the side. Well, if that's what you want to call it. As I shut down my computer, I glare at her as she starts laughing. I'm in no mood for jokes. Michelle and Dory are already in the taxi, and I still have to run down to Stella Caron's office before I leave. Her laughter immediately dries up at the mention of the HR manager. And why, Brittelle, would you need to go there? Rolling my eyes, I pull up the email on my work phone and pass it to her while I clean my desk. Sam scans the email and immediately jumps up, letting a very colorful string of Spanish words fly from her mouth. Her eyes blaze with anger. How dare he! After everything you've done for Brad? She pulls out her phone and begins furiously typing. I shrug as I reach in the desk for my purse, dropping in the work phone Sam tossed aside in her anger. I knew it was coming the moment I started declining his work. I had enough of my own to do, but I guess HR disagrees. Ha! She exclaims. HR isn't filing a PIP for you, but they do plan to give a verbal warning. She looks down when her phone buzzes again and growls. Just a second when, ugh. Then, after another flurry of typing, she looks up, smiling triumphantly. Your meeting is rescheduled for when you return, but you don't have to worry. It's being handled. Now just go. Her phone buzzes, and when she scans it, all the color drains from her face as a soft no escapes her lips. After another flurry, I've got my coat on when she finally looks up, sparks of fury shooting from her eyes. Guess who's making me go with him to Switzerland for the next month? Ben's claiming it's a training opportunity. I'd like the opportunity to train my foot up. I really hope it's not because of something you did for me, Sam. Just take it back. I can handle it, I say decisively. Sam crosses over to me, fairly quickly for someone in 6-inch heels, and puts her arms around me. You just go and have fun. This has nothing to do with you, so don't worry about me. It's not like I haven't traveled with him before. She pulls back to smile wickedly. Besides, I'll get to wear some of the outfits I can't get away with here due to corporate culture. I plan to grind that man down into a fine powder beneath my Naima peep-toe heels. I playfully shudder. Good grief. What did he ever do to you, Sam? The darkness lifts from her eyes, replaced with amusement as she pinches my cheek. Don't worry about it, babe. This is your first real vacation in years. You just focus on making sure your fine husband doesn't think about staying over there. I huff a laugh as I pick up my purse. Thanks, Sam. I'll work on it. Gift, Mama! Gift, Mama! We are here! The feeling of soft raspberries being blown on my cheek wakes me, and I chuckle as I slowly open my eyes. Pleite tendance de Gilsids Verlandine comes over the speaker as my ears pop. Outside the window, we're descending over a lake, which turns into green hills dotted with houses as we come in for a landing. I sit up with a yawn and stretch, catching Michel's eye. When he winks, I smile and look down at the adorable bundle of energy sitting between us. Thanks for waking me, Dory, I murmur as I stroke her fuzzy braid. It looks like we need to make a pit stop before we leave the airport, huh? She giggles as she sings. It's a toilet. We can stop there. Ah, so it's straight to Gigi's house, is it? Michel smiles, tickling her belly. Forget our house. It's only about the marshmallow teddy bears with your grandparents, isn't it? She laughs as the plane's wheels touch down and adorably starts clapping as the pilot announces our welcome to Genève. I smile as I clap with her and immediately turn on my phone to message Bryony that I've landed. I drop my phone in my bag, not expecting a reply since it's 1:30 in the morning back home. I'm glad I managed to get some sleep because they say the cure for jet lag is to stay awake until it's time for bed. Coffee, here I come. We can visit the lounge so that you can freshen up before we leave the airport, if you like, Michel says, eyeing me over door. He said. Oh, I tilt my head. I can wait until we reach your house. I just need to use the ladies' room and do something with this. I wave a hand at the scarf tied around my head. He chuckles, his eyes sparkling in amusement. All right, that will be our first stop. Thanks, I smile. Michel was surprised when I pulled out the scarf when we first sat down on the plane and asked if I planned to wear it the whole time. I just asked if he knew the damage a flight of nearly 8 hours could do with all that dry air circulating in the cabin. He immediately locked his lips and threw away the key. So after gathering our things and leaving the plane, Dorian and I head into the ladies' room to handle our necessities. When I finished giving her 2 French braids, pleased with how her hair has grown since giving her a trim a couple of months ago, I get to work on my hair. A little eyeliner, mascara, and lip color later, I fluff my curls over the shoulder of my belted knit oatmeal cape and pick Dory up to look in the mirror. How do we look, babe? Beautiful, mama, she whispers, giving us 2 thumbs up. Kissing her cheek, I smile. Beautiful Dory. Let's go find Papa. We find him leaning against a wall outside of the bathroom, guarding our bags while looking at his phone. His thick dark hair is longer than it was when he first arrived to the States, so it now falls in waves and curls about his face and over the collar of his black wool jacket and long plaid scarf. Perhaps most unusually, he's wearing a pair of dark blue jeans, neatly cuffed above a pair of brown leather combat boots. Do not ask why I'm here for it. Just don't. Papa, look at my hair, Dory exclaims as she lets go of my hand to run towards Michel. He runs a hand through his hair as he looks up, a grin on his face as he bends to catch her. Wow, you're beautiful, little Guella. Where's Give? His voice trails off as he looks up to see me coming, and I've never thought of myself as the most beautiful person in the world, but at that moment, when he swallows as he scans me from head to toe, I just might believe it. Mama. He finishes on a whisper. The butterflies put on a whole Broadway production in my stomach, and I dip my chin as I near them, a bit embarrassed. It has to be hormones. So what if my period just ended a week ago? Some phase of the moon, some type of pheromone, something is in the air, and I need to get a grip. Ready? I ask brightly when I stop in front of Michelle. I don't wait for a response as I pick up my tote bag. After going through immigration and customs, we collect our luggage and turn towards something called the French sector. Once we're through another set of customs, we find ourselves in a parking garage as Michelle talks to Adrienne on the phone. We are waiting by the doors. Yes, the same one you dropped me off at. Okay. Okay. Papa, I'm hungry, Dorian intones as he hangs up the phone. Michelle smirks at me. It's nearly 3 in the morning at home. She's sleepy, not hungry. Remember, we ate on the plane, but if you're still hungry, we get something to eat after Uncle Rian picks us up. When he looks up at me, I'm trying to cover my laughter, but when he raises a brow, I mouth, Uncle Rian? He smiles and murmurs, it was payback for Mishubisu. I dissolve into laughter just as a black SUV pulls up in front of us because Uncle Nothing is a diabolical clapback. The SUV comes to a stop and out jumps the second most gorgeous man I've ever seen with a large toothy grin. He's equally matched in size with Michelle, maybe an inch taller, and I'm sorely tempted to ask if he's sure they aren't twins. Yet, the differences are there. Adrien wears his dark brown hair cut at a modest length, and while he shares the same thick brows and lashes as Michelle, with the same prominent jawline, his eyes trend more blue than gray, and his lips are slightly fuller. As cold as it is, he's only wearing a cardigan over a def leopard t-shirt, dark jeans, and a pair of black and white Vans. Uncle Rien! Dorian squeals as she takes a running leap at the man. I've missed you, my darling, he coos in a voice slightly deeper than Michel's, pressing kisses all over her face. That's it. I'm kidnapping you. You can't go back with Papa this time. I insist. No! She squeals in laughter as he puts her down to approach us, reaching over to clap a hand on Michel's back a few times. When he steps back, he's talking to Michel, but his eyes haven't left my face. Only you to go alone for work and return with the full family, Michou. She's gorgeous. I raise a brow as I look at Michel. He's rolling his eyes at his brother, but I don't miss the way he steps closer to me and rests his hand on my lower back. Sweetheart, this is my ape of a brother, Adrien. Adrien? This is my wife, Bronwyn. Adrien steps forward to give me air kisses before extending his hand. It's nice to meet you, my lovely sister-in-law. Nice to meet you, Adrien. I return with a smile, but as he draws my hand towards his lip, I pull away, tucking my hand at Michel's instead. Adrien laughs, but looks pointedly at Michel, who smirks. Just open the trunk, Rien. Adrien barks in laughter, and as they move towards the rear of the truck with our 2 suitcases, I hear him commenting on how little we brought with us and asking if I have a sister. Ha! Joke's on him. I do, and she's taken. I have Dorian buckled into her car seat, and I'm buckled in beside her by the time they've finished their little chat and finally get in. Heavy metal comes crashing through the speakers before the volume is lowered with an apology. Do you want a color, Dory? I whisper as the guys sort out where to go first. When she agrees, I reach into her pink book bag, pull out a set of crayons and a coloring book, and set them up on her tray. As Adrien pulls into a little two-way road that turns into a tunnel, Michel opens a console and pulls out a case. When he puts on a pair of aviators, I chuckle. Younger siblings. But wait, Adrien's car was wrecked. Is this actually Michel's truck? It would explain the car seat, although that could technically be installed in any car. When there's a lull in the conversation up front, I ask, how are you since the accident, Adrien? He nods as he merges onto a highway. Better, thanks for asking. I'm still on leave until after the new year, but hopefully I'll get a clean bill of health to return to duty. My brows rise. Oh, are you with the police or something? His laugh is familiar when he says, or something. Please tell me you aren't still using that old line, Michel says dryly. Why? Worried it will work? Adrien retorts with a chuckle as we cross over a beautiful river. Michel turns his head, and I can imagine he's rolled his eyes. How do you put up with this man? Adrien's eyes dart to mine in the rearview mirror. How far apart are you two in age? I ask, unwilling to jump in the middle of their sibling standoff. A year, Adrien says as Michel says, 11 months. Ah, I see, I respond. Irish twins. They look at each other and burst into laughter as Michel says, I don't think you can call Frenchmen Irish, my love. And certainly not twins, Adrien mutters good-naturedly. Why not? I smirk. It's the term for children born within 12 months of each other. For one thing, my dear, I have 11 months more experience than him, Adrien asserts. You mean you failed at more things more often than I have? Michel counters. I chuckle at their banter as we pass a checkpoint. Mountains rise around us and set against the bright blue of the sky make the perfect backdrop for a postcard picture. Despite the fact the ride is supposed to be less than an hour, I doze off, only waking at the sound of a door closing. My eyes snap open, and I look around to see we've stopped at a market. Dorian has also dozed off, and she's still asleep. The poor dear. But Michel appears to be scrolling through his phone, his other hand braced against the back of the driver's seat. His wedding band glints in the sunlight, and I smile, remembering how it got tangled in my hair the night of our wedding. I must make a noise, because he glances at me over his shoulder and smiles. What's so funny? Reaching up, I spin the ring on his finger. I was just thinking that you likely still carry my DNA around in your wedding band. His brow furrows, then he chuckles, quietly adding, I'm pretty sure I still have your hair embedded in my finger. Talk about making an impression. I giggle with a shake of my head. His eyes glitter as he smiles. That you most certainly did. 4 days out of 7. What? Ah, he quietly laughs as I duck my head when I remember making a similar statement after we caught that weird bug. I hit him in the arm, a flustered smile spreading across my face. There's a child present, Mr. Renau. He lifts a shoulder as he smirks. This show still must go on, Mrs. Renau. Heat crawls up my neck as I roll my lips into my mouth, trying to contain the smile threatening to break free. I hold up a finger. Careful, sir, or I'll think you're being naughty. Not yet, he responds, staring at me through those confounded aviator lenses that make him look devastatingly handsome. Oh my Coco. I can't believe this man is flirting with me. The butterflies have fried to death with the electricity zinging through me. I turn my head to look out of the window, hoping that the heat of the sun will be enough to cool my face down because it is hot in here. You know, they say some behaviors are addictive, Mr. Linnell. Maybe you should quit while you're ahead. He lifts the hand on the back of the seat to put a finger under my chin and turn my head towards him. And if I don't, do you think you can handle it? When he runs his thumb across my mouth, I instantly lick my lips, clearly unable to deal with this. And thankfully, he puts me out of my misery when he whoops my nose and turns around. If you can't handle this much flirting, I don't know what you're going to do when we are found my family. We discussed it before, but maybe I should have tried to ease you into it earlier. My brows rise as I recall our conversation around the time he said he bought our tickets. He didn't plan to tell his family about the nature of our arrangement, so as far as they're concerned, we're a regularly married couple. And allegedly, when this guy is in regular love, he's extremely affectionate. But we aren't in regular love. I swallow as I look back at him. Apparently, we're a couple so in love, we met and married within a month and a half of meeting. I'm sure you'll be fine. You may be out of practice, but don't worry, I say with more bravado than I feel. I'll pick up your slack. His silent wheeze of laughter isn't even interrupted when Adrien opens the door and chucks a bag at him. What's so funny? What did I miss? Adrien asks as he starts the car. We will, just talking about the size of your head, Michel retorts, pushing his sunglasses atop his hair. But when Adrien gets started cracking jokes about his boat-sized feet, Michel turns around and winks at me, and all I can do is turn my head and look out of the window. Yeah, this is going to be brutal.